I think I ended up saying it in a video before, but as for Yu-Gi-Oh! Rarity, one thing that I particularly like about it is the devil is in the details. We're in a trading card world with Starlight rares, Ultimate rares, Collector rares, Colored Name rares. All these robust different rarities are now available in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Trading card game. But it's important to note that it wasn't always that way. Back in the day, Yu-Gi-Oh! Foiling was extremely primitive. It was lucky if you got a holo foil in your pack at all. Now, we're just accustomed to it. Now we have this long, large laundry list of different rarities, but back in the day, we have to remember it wasn't always like that. Sometimes, just simply getting a humble, super rare reprint was the cream of the crop. Today, we're going to be discussing one of my favorite packs in Yu-Gi-Oh! And that is the second tournament pack series, Champion Pack. Champion Pack released November 11th, 2006, following the end of Tournament Pack series after it ended at number 8. I'm going to show you guys a few cards that you could receive back in the day from Champion Pack booster packs, the same way that you would receive like an Ultimate Rare Skill Drain in today's OTS packs. It's hard to imagine a world where you didn't get tournament packs for participating in a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament. Since the inception of organized play, there's always been some kind of incentive to get people through the door. Original tournament packs housed some of the best cards in Yu-Gi-Oh! At the time. But after the release of Tournament Pack 8, Konami was actually unsure if they would ever release another Tournament Pack series ever again. Before we talk about my favorite set of packs, the Champion Pack, let's actually jump back to its predecessor, Tournament Pack, to figure out what were some of the shortcomings with that maybe we would have lived in a world where Champion Pack had never existed. Let's talk about that for a minute. I actually don't own a lot of Tournament Pack cards because I'm not a huge fan of them. I only own a measly 4 of them here, but I'll show them off to you guys. You would think since it's just a continuation of Tournament Packs, there wouldn't be much of a structure changed, but you would be incredibly wrong because the original Tournament Pack model just didn't work out. Tournament Packs contained the same rarities as Champion Packs, but the card selection was not very good, I want to say, even back in the day. Tournament packs, same as Champion Packs, were 3-card packs, but the rarity distribution was you would get a rare in 1 out of every 3 packs, so you weren't guaranteed. You get a super in 1 out of every 18, and you would get the ultra rare, which there's only 1 in the set, 1 out of every 108 booster packs. A lot of the commons from tournament packs ended up being straight vanillas, and it actually still is today where the majority of those vanillas, that's the only place you can find them. I think Bean Soldier is legitimately one that's only been printed in Tournament Pack 7? That might not be right. It's got 1 tournament pack print, it's a common, and it will never see another print again, probably. The rares were just as questionable, and even the super rares sucked for the majority of them. I have in my hands one of the first super rares released from Tournament Pack 1, Quagar Hercules. This card was semi-playable with Bee Trooper and Ready Fusion being the only insect that you were able to Ready Fusion out. But it was a nice little insect extender for those Bee Trooper decks. I picked it up from Ruxin back in the day to be able to use specifically for that. Pretty neat if you're jumping up like 2 decades or something to actually play the card. But if you want an example of some of the other super rares, man, you had like Call of the Grave, which is a counter to Monster Reborn, or like Magical Thorn, which I gotta be honest, I don't even know what this fucking card does, dude. It's bad though. It's real bad. A lot of the super rares were just genuinely unplayable. Cards like Anti-Raigeki, White Hole, Fortress Whale was another one of them, Duname's Dark Witch, just a bunch of weird, questionable choices to release in Tournament Pack set. So unless you were hitting it big in Tournament Pack, you weren't really getting anything too crazy even for the time. But when you did hit big, oh my god, you hit big. One of the most valuable cards in my collection is a Tournament Pack card, and it really sets the example of the power level of some of these cards in TP, really what buoyed the value from it. The card I'm talking about is my Tournament Pack 2 copy of Morphing Jar. This card is extremely rare, extremely expensive, very difficult to find, in mint condition. This bad boy's clean, bro. Look at him smiling. That's me right now. Morphing Jar, despite being an incredible card today, had its debut in Tournament Pack 2. This was the only place you could pull it on release. This card, even back in the day, was meta-changing. And if you want to take a step back to the previous Tournament Pack 1, it had another problem where it released Mechanical Chaser. Mechanical Chaser is a level 4 machine with 1850 attack. It's a vanilla. But at the time, that 1850 was the largest stat line for attack printed on a vanilla monster. 2 ultra rares in a row, meta-defining. That's kind of weird that they set it up like that. Or is it? They continued to release bangers in the ultra rare slot. TP3 had Needleworm, TP4 had Royal Decree, and then TP5 had Luminous Soldier, I think. That's some shit. If you were a player back in the day, I could imagine you'd be a little bit upset if you don't open anything other than the ultra rare from your tournament packs, right? All these other supers and stuff are cool for like collectors and fans of the anime that maybe want to re-see these cards in an actual printed form, but you're a tournament player. You're opening a tournament pack. I think I'd want more cards that are good in tournament. They also did this weird thing with tournament packs where they took these ultra rares, these iconic releases, and they reprinted them in later tournament packs as a super. Like, I think in TP4, they took Jar and reprinted it as a super, and in TP5, they took Needleworm, originally the ultra, and printed it in super again. Wait, why? Why'd you fucking do that? Just a lot of mistakes from the original tournament pack. You really wouldn't see it start to turn around until TP7 and 8, when you had good super rares, like Breaker the Magical Warrior is still a super expensive super rare, as well as, Harpy's Feather Duster, one of the most expensive tournament packs of all time, is a super rare in TP8. But before that, it's just a lot of weird patterns with the tournament pack release. A lot of weird things when you're considering the majority of the player base receiving these packs are tournament grinders. So after the release of Tournament Pack 8, Konami was in a weird spot thinking, is it really worth continuing this tournament pack sort of like model? The one thing that they had going on at the same time recently that they said, actually, I'm reading this article here, it's actually quite interesting, I'll link it below, but they said the one thing that was contesting the popularity of those tournament packs was the Hobby League program. This is a quote from the article, actually. Would it surprise you to find out the tournament pack idea almost went away after Tournament Pack 8? It's true. The very idea was almost abandoned since tournament packs were not used in the Hobby League program that was being introduced at the time. What? It's hard to imagine that Hobby League, those stupid parallel cards that I swear, I actually asked everybody in my household. Out of 3 bozos, we do not have one Hobby League card. It's crazy. The Hobby League program was pretty much just locals from what people have told me. I asked about it on my Twitter, and it's just you would go play constructed or sometimes traditional, and at the end of it, you would get a Hobby League card, and that's the prizing for it, I guess. I just can't imagine a world where that model of receiving one of the same promo every time you attended this specific local, it rotated out every month or so or something like that, but I can't imagine a world where that replaces these tournament packs that we've been receiving. Nevertheless, I think they made the right decision, and at the end of 2006, they gave us Champion Pack 1. The reason I like Champion Pack so much is you'll start to realize a lot of the glaring problems with Tournament Pack just completely evaporated with this release. I've got some info to share with you guys here. Like the Tournament Pack structure, you were still given 3 cards per pack. However, you were given 2 commons and 1 rare guaranteed this time, not the 1 out of 3 rare chance that old Tournament Packs had. Supers were a little bit more common at 1 out of every 12 pack, and even the ultra rares were more common at 1 out of 48 packs. However, you'll start to realize the ultra rares, it does not matter that they're easier to get because nobody fucking wanted them. The true cream of the crop in Champion Pack is the super rare reprints. They decided to take super hot meta cards and give them their first foil upgrade. Many of these cards back in the day, you'll start to realize from their initial release were either common or rare, just no foil printing. So having a reprint set to revisit these iconic meta cards to give them that foil facelift would reward tournament grinders that wanted to bling out their decks a little bit more. Some of these Champion Pack super rares still are the highest rarity to this date. There still hasn't been a rarity that has eclipsed it. We'll talk about that in a moment. Actually, a good example, the first one there is one of my favorite Champion Pack 1 cards is Knight Assailant, printed in super rare at the time. Good. Oh my god, bro, this guy makes me so happy. Look how handsome he is. I've got 2 of this bad boy here because back in the day, this guy's card text reads, if he was discarded, you can add a flip effect from your graveyard to your hand. So you can just add another copy of himself, and you can loop these Knight Assailants to have infinite discards. Kinda neat. There was no foil printing from him. He was only a common in Ancient Sanctuary. This was the only foil printing of Knight Assailant for years, actually. I say years, but it's actually maybe even been over a decade. The only recent foil print we've had of Knight Assailant has actually been from the new Hidden Arsenal set. It got the DT/Ultra treatment, and oh boy, does it look bad. It does not look good. Another card that has been released in every rarity under the sun, but still holds its most valuable version in one of the most unassuming rarities, is Book of Moon. I have 2 Champion Pack 1 super rare copies, English, of Book of Moon. You'll notice all my cards in my collection are English. That's because I just like to read my cards. But also, the market is significantly different for these Champion Pack cards. You can find a lot of these Champion Pack supers at an extreme price difference if they're foreign or not. The English ones are always way more desirable, though, and way harder to find. Book of Moon, like I said, was reprinted in every rarity. Super rare might actually be one of the lower rarities. It's gotten an ultimate rare treatment, a secret rare treatment in the legendary collections. It's been everywhere. But back in the day, it was only printed as a rare in Pharaonic Guardian. So getting this iconic super rare reprint was, again, for years, the only holographic form of the card you could get. Card that you'll probably never see off the ban list is Metamorphosis, another card that has gotten the Champion Pack super rare treatment. That, oh, these are very clean copies too, actually. I'll pull one of them out just to give you a look. It is hard to find a flaw on these, bro. These are clean copies of Champion Pack 1 Metamorphosis. Summoning Thousand Eyes Restrict with these bad boys. You always felt like a king, man. Very, very gorgeous super rare copies of a very powerful banned card that we probably won't see again. And the fourth and the final super rare from Champion Pack 1, this is, I think, the only Champion Pack set that I have all the supers in, and I don't even know if it's like a mistake because they're all just so good. I didn't intend on collecting all the super rares of the set, but getting a set of Sakuretsu armor has completed all 4 of the super rares. Again, another iconic battle trap back in the day where this was its first and only foil reprint for many, many years. All Champion Packs have 4 different super rares that you are able to obtain from them, and they also have 1 ultra rare, which carrying over from the Tournament Pack series is still a debut. Unlike the Tournament Pack, the ultra rares in the sets are not fucking heaters. They're not like absolutely iconic meta warping staples. Instead, for Champion Pack 1, the ultra rare was actually Satellite Cannon. Satellite Cannon's cool, but it's not good, dude. It's not a good card. So you don't have to worry about having one of the best cards in the metagame at the moment being locked behind a tournament pack that you could only get from attending weekly locals. I think this is a great flip because now we have a variety of meta staples that all have this gorgeous foiling treatment. Again, these are some of my favorites from Champion Pack 1 here. I do not have a Satellite Cannon, but it's also important to note that a lot of the commons and rares, rather than being completely useless like in Tournament Pack, are also just playable. In Champion Pack 1, you had a much needed reprint of Solemn Judgment as a rare, Reflect Bounder as a rare as well, and Pot of Avarice, I think, also got the rare treatment in Champion Pack 1. Reprints that I have a hard time anybody complained about back in the day. Those are some pretty integral cards from old Yu-Gi-Oh! Let's go on to Champion Pack 2, released February 6, 2007, and we'll see what was released then. Elusive in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series, but I own a humble playset, is Champion Packs 2 Super Rare Magician of Faith. These are lovely super rare copies that I received from Ruxin himself. Again, an iconic monster card back in old era Yu-Gi-Oh! This was its first foil reprint. It got a rare print in Metal Raiders before this. I think the only other foil rarity we would see of this card wouldn't be until years later in Duelist Saga, and it's an ugly Duelist Saga ultra rare. It just really does not match this old school DM era Yu-Gi-Oh look. I think anything past the 5Ds era, not that it's bad, it's some of my favorite cards in Yu-Gi-Oh, but anything GX DM era really just captures the aesthetic of it, right? Like this feels like the Pharaoh's game, playing some of these cards, playing on these, is this supposed to be a stone tablet? Don't correct me. That's what I think it is. Let me immerse myself. Magician of Faith is a super hot release on CP2, still one of the most valuable cards in Champion Pack 2 today. And then you also have another card that has popped up in my Edison deck recently, and that's Pyramid Turtle. Pyramid Turtle getting the lovely super rare treatment in Champion Pack 2 as well. This is one that actually would get another super rare print in Legendary Collection Joey World a couple years later. But again, it's another thing where if you look at the difference of the cards, there's just something with the border, something with the aesthetic of it that really appeals to me from back in the day. Got a nice playset of Pyramid Turtles here. I don't have the full set of Champion Pack 2. If you're curious about the other super rares, there was Smashing Ground also released in super rare. There was another super rare too. I don't think it's a particularly good one, but some of the commons in there was also a common Ring of Destruction reprint and a common Happy Lover print. Happy Lover is a common card from Champion Pack 2 that actually I had to look up, and it still doesn't have a reprint to this date. This card was oddly playable in some Herald strategies back in the day with advanced ritual art. Some of these vanillas back from Champion Pack, Tournament Pack still don't have re-releases, and there's just not a good product to house them, you know? I don't think anybody wants to open a Yu-Gi-Oh! Product in 2022 and find a poopy 100 attack, 100 defense, level 1 vanilla monster staring them back in the face. Unless it's Sunseed Genius Lokai, then I'm going nuts. But other than that, man, there's really no good product to re-release these cards in. Champion Packs 2 Ultra was actually a banger, something you'll seldom see with all these Ultra Rares in Champion Pack, but it was Magical Stone Excavation actually got its official debut in Champion Pack 2. Pretty sick card for some Diamond Dude Turbo strategies. You know, you don't have to pay the cost of discarding 2 cards, just simply get a free spell back from the graveyard. Pretty good. Seldom hear me say that, though. There is maybe 2 good ultra rares in the entire Champion Pack series. Moving on to CP3, I actually do have the ultra rare from this one. This is Magicians Unite. Keep in mind, these are 1 out of 48, so they're not too difficult to get. You get 2 in like a box that you get because the boxes come with 100 packs, but like you're getting 2 of the same one. And when they're not good, a lot of people don't really want them. Magicians Unite is a bummy anime card, I'm pretty sure, but it was the ultra rare of Champion Pack 3. I don't have a lot of Champion Pack 3 cards. The only other super I have is actually Spirit Reaper, one of the more iconic cards from CP3. I know MBT has a super Spirit Reaper of his own. I think his is PSA 10. What a flex there. I just simply have a raw copy here to be able to play in my GOAT deck. Definitely wanted to have one. The other super rares in CP3 were Spy, Snipe Hunter, and Dark World Lightning. Spy and Snipe Hunter are really good super rares that I just haven't gotten around to obtaining myself. Dark World Lightning's a little here and there. I think contextually, Dark World Lightning was a really good reprint then, because it also had a card like Gold, which Gold really needed a reprint too at the time, I'm pretty sure. Another card was there was a rare version of Widespread Ruin, which I'm pretty sure was only a game promo before its release in Champion Pack 3. Moving on to CP4, I've got another one of the ultra rares, Gurnia. God, this card's terrible. That'll just bookmark the CP4 there, the ultra rare Gurnia, but some of the super rares were bangers. One of them was Bottomless Trap Hole, a card that had only had a rare printing before it, played in every deck really on release, dude. 1,500 or more attack monsters, beware. The Bottomless Trap Hole is too powerful. I think the 2 copies I have are pretty nice from what I remember. It's actually quite difficult to find really clean copies of these old Champion Pack cards because not only were they in collectible packs like the Champion Packs, like the tournament packs, but they're also playable. They're really good cards that anyone, I think, got a super rare version of Bottomless Trap Hole wouldn't really think twice about throwing it in their deck. Another cool one in CP4 was the Ultimate Offering. I have a very clean, minty copy of this card here. A broken Forbidden card. I don't think this card will ever get unbanned, honestly. Have you seen the OCG artwork of this? I have a hard time believing we'll get that one in the TCG anytime soon, though, as a Lost Art promotion. But, bro, this one's iconic. I don't know. I like this artwork. Just wait. When Ultimate Offering comes back, gadgets are going to be insane. Other super rares in the set were Apprentice Magician as well as Hydra getting good with those beatdown decks. And it doesn't mean much now, but back in the day in Champion Pack 4, you had a common Manju reprint. Manju of the 10,000 Hands is a card that has always notoriously been a couple bucks just until its value was absolutely pulverized with its most recent reprint. Up until like Hidden Summoners, when it got a super rare reprint, Manju in any set was always like a $4 or $5 card, dude. It was the strangest thing. Now you can get the copies for like less than $1. But back in the day, I just thought it was funny to mention that. Going on in Champion Pack 5, the ultra rare of Champion Pack 5 was Fiend's Sanctuary. It says in the article I was reading that Fiend's Sanctuary saw immediate play in several decks. Bro, I'm not so sure, man. That card's trash.
I wouldn't mind another CP Dust Shoot or another Wave Motion. I wouldn't mind having a playset. Rescue Cat, nice. And another one. Are you serious? Another one? That is epic.
I tried to look up old lists back in the day, and dude, I couldn't find anything. If anybody can enlighten me onto what this article is fucking talking about Fiend Sanctuary being a playable ultra rare, I'd like to hear it. As far as other cards in Champion Pack 5, though, I got these from JoJo ASMR, these 2 lovely copies of Magical Merchant. Oh man, these guys are handsome. Real ones know I never had these guys from Season 1 of the Progression series. These copies are actually really quite nice. I'm really happy that Jonah kept them in good condition, and I was really happy to pick them up from them. I've been looking for these for a very long time, actually. A light level 1 to pick up other spells and traps from the deck. Really good in GOAT format back in the day. Really handsome lad there. I'm hoping we get some more merchants at some point. Another banger super rare from CP5 was Trap Dust Shoot. Trap Dust Shoot is obviously a forbidden trap card that may never come back to Yu-Gi-Oh! But you want to hear something funny? It was Bean Soldier TV, actually. He mentioned to me that a pointer of the Red Lotus at today's modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Tempo is just better Trap Dust Shoot. What do you guys think about that? I don't know if I agree with that, man. It's kind of scary to think about it that way. This copy is, it's pretty alright for Champion Pack 5. I don't know if you can see the bottom here. There is some silvering on the bottom. Some of these later prints of Champion Pack struggled with poor quality control, so it's a little bit difficult to find exactly like near mint PSA 10 clean copies of these old Champion Pack cards, but some people give it a little bit leeway when they're listing them because this type of wear is notorious. That's all I personally have from Champion Pack 5, but there was a lot of really good reprints and a lot of cards that really stood the test of time from this set. Wave Motion Cannon got a super rare reprint, which is sick for those burn decks, and then Giant Germ got a reprint. Oh, that's what was in CP2. It was Nimble Manga had a super rare reprint, so Germ was the addition onto that one there. But there was a lot of good commons and rares. Cards like Deck Devastation Virus, which is good today, Anti-Spell, Fragrance, DD Crow, and Rescue Cat all got reprints in this Champion Pack. I've only got 2 cards from Champion Pack 6, but there's a little bit more to talk about with this one. I have the Ultra Rare, which is Rigorous Reaver, a very, very poopy flip effect card that has never done anything in its lifespan, and it probably never will. And then I also have a copy of Old Vindictive Magician. This one I think has a crease in it, dude. I've had this thing from back in the day, back when I was preaching, you know, like moderate play cards need love. Ooh. That's not even moderate. That's like heavy damage. I have a super rare Old Vindictive Magician. There were some other really cool super rares in the set, but there's something unique about Champion Pack 6 that separates it from these rest of the Champion Packs. Champion Pack's other super rares were Destiny Hero Fearmonger, Phoenix Wing Windblast, and Blaze Accelerator. I know those don't sound like much besides Wingblast, but Champion Pack 6 also had misprints in it that are some of the rarest, most collectible, and most expensive Yu-Gi-Oh cards in the game. All the super rare cards, Vindictive Magician, Fearmonger, Wingblast, Blaze Accelerator, also got prints as ultra rares by mistake. I don't know exactly how rare these ultra rare misprints are, but let me tell you, they are worth cake. I have never seen one of them in person, I don't even think. I had to sit here a minute. I think actually I've seen the Fearmonger in person, but you want to see something even rarer right on your screen is you can actually see there's a person with graded copies of each of them, as well as additional just raw copies chilling. This Instagram post is actually from one of my friends, J Harris Games. He was visiting another friend who is in possession of all these copies of these ultra rare CP6 misprints. They are gorgeous, they are rare, and I want them, but I will never have them. On to Champion Pack 7. I do not have the ultra rare for this one, but it was Voltic Kong. Got some pretty cool super rares though. Lone Fire Blossom got its first foil reprint. This again is another card that years later got another super rare reprint in Mystic Fighters, and then again in Fusion Enforcers, but this was the original super rare printing in Champion Pack 7. Iconic back in the day when you consider we're just about to leave the GX era to go into 5Ds with Turbo Pack. This Lone Fire Blossom was a huge player in those plant decks back in the day. I do actually own a third copy of Champion Pack Lone Fire. It is chilling right now in my Sun Avalon Rika deck. But yeah, very gorgeous super rare, man. Happy to own that. Another super rare is Legendary Jitsu Master. This guy's pretty tough, man. Played him in the progression series a few times. Really, really powerful level 3 monster. 1800 defense. With a pretty good defensive effect. Not too bad, not too bad. And the last super I have from Champion Pack 7 is a Threatening Roar. Again, progression series iconic card here. Both Season 1 and Season 2 to stop those pesky Cybersteins. I really like the look of this Threatening Roar, actually. This is one of my favorite cards in super rare. It's got a secret print in one of the legendary collections, I think, but does not match this lovely Champion Pack super. As you can see, I've got 3 of the 4 supers from CP7. The last one is Gladiator Beast Bestiari. I will be getting that one sometime soon. Hopefully, I want to build old school Glads. But you also had some cool rare reprints. I think Doom Shaman only had a super rare at the time there, so it got another rare reprint. It was playable. Vanity's Fiend got another rare reprint, and then Dark World Dealings actually got a reprint in Champion Pack 7. Closing out our journey at Champion Pack 8, like you'll see a lot of the tournament packs, they all end at the number 8. Champion Pack 8 was released January 5th, 2009, with the Ultra Rare Gravity Behemoth. Boy, is that card terrible. Champion Pack 8 left off with some pretty good ones, though. Dimensional Fissure was also a super rare card in Champion Pack 8, as well as Lumina, the Lightsworn Sorceress. Originally only printed as a rare in Light of Destruction, I think. It got a lovely foil reprint to match cards like Lila and Celestia and Raikou, all in the Lightsworn deck. Much needed. The ones that I have is I have 2 copies of Prohibition from Champion Pack 8. I don't know if this was actually played back in the day, especially then. This would be a weird time to play Prohib, I think, here. One of my copies is a little bit creased up. I got it for a good deal, though, man. Get the light on there. Ugh. I remember there was a lot of people questioning one of the things about Prohib is, like, if I call Harpy Lady with Prohib, do all the adjacent cards that are treated as Harpy Lady, can you play any of those? Interesting question. I think the answer was yes. I don't know. I'm not a judge. And the other super rare that I have multiple copies of it, is I also have Mind Crush, a card that has truly been eclipsed with time and just the change of the rules. I'm very sad about the history of this card, dude. Mind Crush was an integral part of like old school Yu-Gi-Oh! Being able to get not only just hand knowledge, but rip any card out of your opponent's hand, just extremely powerful. In later years of Yu-Gi-Oh!, when searching became like integral for every deck, you'd be able to not only get full knowledge of whatever else is left in your opponent's hand, but rip whatever they would search out at the point of their turn. If you're unaware, the rulings with Mind Crush has changed over the years. Now, Mind Crush, if you activate it and you call a card and your opponent does not have it, they just don't have to reveal their hand. So, despite the ethical issue of your opponent can just straight up lie to your face, you're obviously missing a huge plus of this card, which was be able to get hand knowledge, which knowing what your opponent has in your hand allows you to optimally play around certain things. So one of the core aspects and best things about Mind Crush, the fact that you can get that hand knowledge, has just been dashed away with new rulings. And I still think it's a dumb decision. Like, I still think you should be able to get full hand knowledge with Mind Crush. Because, come on, it's MC, bro. It's like, hey, come on, man. Like, let me trap trick this thing. It's a weird ruling, but I know a lot of players back in the day, if they're playing Mind Crush, they're playing with old MC rulings, so it doesn't particularly matter. It's a shame that I can't even tell if this card would be playable in today's game. with the additional bonus of having the ability to look at my opponent's hand. Other cards from Champion Pack 8, where there was a reprint of Burial from a Different Dimension, which only had a Duelist Pack print as an Ultra, I think, and then Royal Oppression had a rare, and it got a reprint again, I think, as a common this time. This is the last we would see of Champion Pack, though. Champion Pack 8 closes off the loop of the Grade 8s, and then we would move on to Turbo Pack a few months later. I love the old school Champion Pack model because of how primitive rarity was back in the day. Having a foil of any type of card was a huge deal. Having a foil of staple cards that other players didn't have easy access to, dream come true. The whole switch up with the Champion Pack structure breathed life into the tournament pack idea again and allowed Konami to continue to make tournament packs all the way up until OTS pack that we know today. I'm just personally a big fan of how you can have a card with so many different of the same foiling misprints, however one of them look significantly different and be worth significantly more. Right, I think that's everything I have to share with you guys. This is my humble collection of Champion Pack cards. I'm hoping to expand it more. There's cards like Gravekeeper Spy that I still want. I still need a copy of Snipe Hunter. There's a lot of cards that I don't have from this set, but they're very expensive. I'll get them eventually. If you guys enjoyed the video, if you guys learned something, be sure to like the video, comment, and definitely consider subscribing, and I will catch you guys in the next one.